me, God.
Oh God.
Yeah, oh God. Have you been behaving yourself? I've been kind of busy. I haven't been paying that much attention to you, but I hear you're a taxpayer and all that, so I assume it's good.
Yeah, actually, I have a pre-prepared list of good deeds that I have done this week. It's kind of long, but we can go into it in detail if you've got the time.
No need. I'm sure that it's fine. I'm sure you've been a good person and everything like that. I'm sure that's the case.
Okay, can I give it to one of your heralds? Do I get credit for it? Where do I turn in my receipts?
You know, it doesn't really work like that. What it works like is a mystery wrapped in ineffable goodness. Just trust me, okay?
All right, but I'm going to just keep this list going so that next time you ask me, I can just tell you how many inches I've added to it.
All right, that sounds okay, but I do have one thing I'm a little worried about.
What's that?
Well, I hear you're gay. Is that right?
Look, gay is such a umbrella term. If you'd like a rundown on my sexuality, I do actually have this 10-page essay that I would love to give to you.
You know, every time I talk to you, you want to give me a bunch of paperwork.
I just want to make sure everyone's informed.
All I'm asking is for you to, I don't know, not be gay.
What are you asking for, God?
I'm the Lord thy God, all right? You shall have no other gods before me.
I never said I did. I'm asking what you want of me. What do you want from me, oh mighty Lord?
You know, just unwavering loyalty, I guess. I don't know. You know, it's not easy being God. You're aware of that, right?
I have an idea, yeah.
Well, then, why you gotta bust my balls with a bunch of paperwork and demands and questions?
Look, I just aim to be perfect in your eyes.
All right, you've convinced me. Look, just send all of your shit. Just put it all in a big, thick envelope, all right? And then just don't put any stamps on it. The postal service isn't working right anyway. Just throw it in the street, entitled God. I'll have somebody come by and pick it up.
Excellent.
Oh, wait, is that an emergency? I gotta go watch some people die. See ya.
Okay.
A shin show.
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 A shin show. A Shin Show Research Institute would like to formally invite our listeners to participate in a research study entitled The Zac Efron Effect. Am I gay? Participants are encouraged to apply regardless of current sexuality as a Shin Show Research Institute attempts to decipher the frankly astonishing effect Zac Efron's mirror image seems to have on individuals regardless of age, gender, or sexual orientation. Researchers hypothesize that viewing images or short clips of Zac Efron will effortlessly alter your sexuality such that you find Zac Efron attractive.
Men previously secure in their masculinity and heterosexuality may find they get a little chubby in their sweats during this trial. And women who thought they were a solid 6 on the Kinsey scale may find themselves knocked down a clean 3.5 points. That's perfectly normal and a welcome side effect our researchers have come to anticipate. A Shin Show is not responsible for an unalterable shift in self-perceived reality and sexuality. Zac Efron or Zac Efron's agents, please contact us for future partnership opportunities. Welcome to A Shin Show. I'm your host, Pete Shin. Alongside me, beloved spouse Elsie, son Nick, and daughter Sara. Good evening.
Yo. At what point does it become evening?
Oh, that's an easy question to answer. I'm glad you asked it. It becomes evening at 5 p.m. in whatever local time zone you're in. Then it becomes evening.
All right. Then I guess we all meet the criteria.
Yeah, good
I'll
evening.
let it go.
Thanks for allowing it.
All right, so what's up, guys? Let's have a conversation. Let's converse.
All right, well, I'll start because I have kind of big news this week, which is that I had my last day on the real JOB on Friday.
You know what that means, right?
No, what does it mean?
It means you can finally talk shit.
No, not yet. Not yet. So close, but not yet.
What is the last year paperwork not quite pushed through? Well, that'll be another 3 to 5 years.
It's not 3 to 5 years. It's actually 3 to 5 weeks. So although it's my last working day, my last actual day associated with my current employment ends on the 30th of September. So the 1st of October, then I am somewhat...
Watch the fuck out.
You'll have such insight to give us.
It's going to get real up in here.
I already conducted an exit interview for Dad from his job, which we will have to release on a later date.
Yeah.
On October 1st?
Yeah.
Okay.
At that point, we may already have an archive of exit interviews. It got off the rails pretty fucking far from an exit interview. I asked him like 2 questions, and then we just devolved into AI and the future of war and all
Cool.
this, that, and the other thing. How hopeless/hopeful Dad and I are, not respectively, the other way around.
Irrespective.
Yeah, Dad has this admirable hope for the future of America and its people.
You know why?
It's cute, honestly. Now, look at this picture, Sarah. I can't show you guys. Observe and examine this picture, and you tell me there's hope. Describe the picture, please, and then look me in the face and tell me there's hope.
First of all, I hope that this is actually a pencil drawing and not a legit
It's not.
tattoo. But it looks like an origami version of our current president. And then in truly just childish block letters is New Aryan Empire.
It's a tattoo of Donald Trump, the whole guy's back, by the way. It's his whole back. Donald Trump giving the old Heil Hitler. And then in almost Comic Sans block lettering above, it says New Aryan Empire. Now, that man got that tattooed on his entire back. And you tell me there's hope.
Well, he's a Nazi.
And it's not the worst tattoo I've seen on Reddit in the last week.
Well, okay, that is true. But that tattoo just kind of perfectly summarizes the general stupidity of the general populace of general America.
Perhaps, but have you seen the worst tattoos in the world on Reddit in the
I've
past
seen some
week?
pretty bad ones. What's the worst one? You say that like you have a specific one in mind.
I have a couple in mind. One of which is a gentleman, and I use that term extremely loosely. I love that when people call like murderers or rapists or pedophiles, this gentleman. No, he's clearly not a gentleman. Anyway, These technically human beings have tattooed in their armpits a woman's vulva such that their armpit hair mimics
it's like
female
it's like a hairy
hair.
vagina. Yeah, they got the legs on either side. That's the worst, really?
No, that's not the worst. That was the warm-up for the worst.
Okay. All right, good.
And the warm-up for the worst was a lifelike tattoo of a porn star with her face covered in semen. A couple of guys had something like that.
Nice. Now that is great.
Classy.
I like
if
the
you
one
will.
where it's a cat's asshole is someone's belly button, you know? They tattoo it. Have you seen
a
that?
cat around the belly button.
Yeah, and it's just a cat's asshole.
No,
Okay.
Well done. It would have taken a couple of hours. All the time in the world, 1,000 different thresholds to say, this isn't a good idea. I should stop here. But they didn't. You know why? Because their brains all dented up.
You know what could only make that better?
No.
Is if the cat was looking over its shoulder and it was actually Garfield.
Well, it is looking over its shoulder, but it ain't Garfield. That would be nice. Like a hyper-realistic cat's body/asshole and then Garfield's head.
Yeah.
If I got something like that, it would be in a classy way.
He's talked himself around.
Yeah, he's talked himself into it, and I'm glad he has. But don't get any of those other tattoos on you. You know, you look through Reddit sometimes, and on Reddit it says, I guess I'm done with the internet for the day. That's how I felt after I saw those tattoos.
I've seen worse, actually. I've seen one that is so heinous that I can't even mention it. It's not even funny.
Yeah, that's good. Let's not even talk about it. It's bad enough what we've already said. So we already know that Reddit is filled with nonsense. But on my last day at work, here's what Elsie did for me. She got me a bouquet of balloons. She made my favorite dinner. She got me an ice cream cake. She also got this non-alcoholic champagne that made this satisfying pop when I uncorked it.
And a cigar.
And a cigar, which I have not yet smoked, although I did smoke another cigar that she'd been holding back for me that was
I have
just
to ask,
the
what's your
best
favorite
cigar.
dinner?
Well, my favorite dinner currently, because we live in an undisclosed location where crab is plentiful and delicious, is delicious crab cakes, which she made for me. Delicious.
Well, congratulations on your last job. And also on snagging a good wife. But what have you done for her lately?
A good whack.
That's the question I'd like answered.
That's a good question right there. Well, here's what I did. I helped her set up a tent today, and I vacuumed, and I mowed the lawn.
That just sounds like chores, dude.
Shoring. Yeah, it sounds like it, but what if he didn't do any of those things?
Well, then I hope she would divorce him.
Oh, wow, that's a pretty long leap, don't you think? There could
Not
be
really.
some intermediate
It's not
steps.
a long leap at all.
Okay.
I mean, it depends on how long the serial no choring happens. I am making some assumptions.
But about
on
18 months is that time frame, by the way.
Oh, okay. See, she's got a timeline.
It was getting very close. Retirement was his only option.
Wait a minute. So what I'm hearing is that my 18-month of chore-free privileges is expired? Because I remember doing some chores in there. I mean, not a lot, obviously, but I did some once in a while.
So for every amount of time you spent doing chores during that time should be deducted from
Right.
the amount that you don't have now. So
He's
if
got
you
a few
spent, let's
weeks.
say, 16 hours doing chores while you weren't retired, then you get at least a good 2 days of
Yeah.
not doing shit.
Yeah, he's got a couple weeks booked, but it's getting short.
Okay.
That is
All
true. I've also been given a free pass to do nothing next week.
That's nice. A week is really all you want anyway. You start to go insane any more than that.
You should know.
I should. I do. I love it. I live it. The
Well-
only chores I do are at my sister's house. I drive to another house to do chores.
You're a good brother.
Or either that or you like a chore.
I'm clinically insane. That's what it is.
Do you need more chores?
I mean, I don't need more, but I'm sure I will be gifted more.
It kind of seemed like you were asking for
I
more
didn't-
chores.
Yeah, well, I cut the grass, the front yard, the other day because I only had time to do the front in order to properly conduct your exit interview and also go on a walk with Taylor.
Okay, so
at
you're
the same
doing
time.
stuff.
So
then.
I fucked up my time management there. So I will cut the backyard probably when it's not 1,000,000 degrees out at like 8 o'clock tonight. But
It is 1,000,000 degrees out.
so fucking hot, dude. So fucking hot.
It's pretty warm here in this undisclosed location where crabs are plentiful. On the East Coast where they eat a lot of Old Bay.
Where the crab is plentiful, it's bountiful even.
It is. There's a bounteous harvest of crab at your local grocery store at any time.
People get crab where we're at, and I'm like, when was the last time that crab touched water?
It has to be within 2 days.
Oh, it has to be, huh?
There's regulation around
Oh,
that.
there's regulation, huh? It's enforced with an iron fist, is
Why,
it?
why is he giving me this attitude?
I'm just saying, like, shit slips through the cracks all the time. The regulations and
There-
rules and has to be got dick to do with the bottom line.
What
we need to do is make sure that the bottom line isn't affected and the regulations can suck a dick. That's how every company works.
You're talking like libertarian, and I won't have
Is
it.
that not how it works?
Well-
exactly. Look at the stunned silence on all of your faces. That's how it works. We all know this. I'm not saying
No.
anything. I'm not
No.
inventing this theory
No.
here.
No.
This is what do you
No.
mean? No, you just trust all these companies?
No, there are expiration dates and like
What?
sell by
That
dates.
don't mean
and-
dick,
yes,
dude. They
it
can
does.
Slap that expiration date on that package at
Okay.
any fucking time.
No, that's not how anything works.
Oh,
God, I
dude,
can,
that is so
I
how
can
it
tell
works.
you
That
that
is
you
so how
have
it
never
works.
worked in a bureaucracy.
I have worked in restaurants. I know how food works. I know how rotten food gets shipped, and then the managers are like, "Oh no, we're using it. We're cooking the rot off. It's about the bottom line, you stupid fuck. How
Okay.
dare you think about throwing rotten meat away?"
But we're not talking about a restaurant.
We're talking about food acquisition and distribution, though. And also, I just saw something that said there's some bill being passed that will allow diseased chicken to be processed. Because the idea is that, once you cook it, there's no disease that is too diseasy. Look, all I'm saying is when the crab comes here, dude, it's been a long time since it's was swimming around in water. It ain't good. It's better where they're at. I promise you it tastes better.
I will give you that.
Here's the reality. The reality is that we go to the store and we buy crab in a can. So it's not like we're going down to the bay and going to our local crab vendor and getting fresh crab. Are we? Or are we? I mean, I don't know. I guess
that's
should-
like 50
But you
bucks a
could, though,
pound.
right?
isn't it?
Dude, picking crabs takes for fucking ever. They're not very large. So yeah, we just buy it canned. It's delightful.
But
So
you could, though, if you wanted to go.
We
get-
could.
snatch a live one.
Yeah, we could go get our own.
we could, except for one thing, which is that the shit in the can's a lot easier. And by the way, that can is available to you in the undisclosed location in the Midwest where you're at. So if you'd like to get some crab, the same kind of crab we get here.
What are you giving me a look for? Yeah, there's fucking crabs in the same location. It can be available to us at a premium 6-day delay. Okay, I'm sure there's a cannery closer. The fucking crab was in the water sooner where they get it than where we get it. It's
Okay.
just that simple.
All right.
The meat is diseased, folks. It's fine. It's fine. I'm not freaking out about it. It's all good. You cook the disease out of it. But
All
let's
right.
just be real, okay?
Okay.
All right, that's fine.
Diseased crab.
That's my news of the week is diseased crab.
And it was delicious.
It was delicious. And Elsie, what was your news of the week besides doing all of those fabulous things for me?
Well, I did all those things.
Yeah, it's true.
And I'm glad I'm getting my full credit, as I so richly deserve.
Which you do.
And we refinanced the house, and we're going to save some money.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
important.
yeah.
Because coming along with leaving a job, even if you're leaving it voluntarily, and in fact, especially if you're leaving it voluntarily without another job to go to in this particular kind of environment, oftentimes you find yourself with a lot less fucking money. And so that's kind of the situation that we're in. We're going to have a lot less fucking money. So it was important to cut down our expenses to the greatest extent possible.
So what's your percentage?
2.25, baby. Can you imagine that?
Wow.
Yeah,
Hell
the-
yeah. That's
The
crazy.
title company lady said it's the lowest rate she's ever seen. So that felt pretty kick-ass.
Where's your
God.
plaque?
What do you mean, where's our
We
plaque?
should have a plaque.
If it's the lowest she's ever seen, don't you guys get like a prize for that? Don't you go up on some
yeah,
wall?
they get two
Well,
and a
she did
quarter.
forget
That's their
to-
prize.
Yeah, that is the
Right.
prize.
She did forget to take the check that we owed her for $38. So we'll take that as our plaque.
My fucking title lady was a total bitch.
Really? Ours was
Yeah.
super charming. She breezed in. The dogs loved on her. She went through, I swear to God, it must have been 380 pages of paperwork in about 20 minutes, all with a smile on her face, all explained perfectly. And the bottom line was, hey, look, you just have to sign 1,000,000 fucking places, okay? And then you're all good.
Nice.
Don't read it. Sign it. Sign it.
Exactly.
Sign here. Initial here. Stop reading it. Sign it.
They made me sign with my middle initial, which I never do.
Oh, yeah. And F's not easy to write out.
No, it looks like a T usually, actually, by the time I'm done with it.
Yeah, that's the way to throw them off the case. Make sure
Well,
they...
I actually do throw an X in there just for giggles. So I figure it'd be real hard for somebody who didn't know that I did that, although I did just out myself, to replicate my signature.
It's fine. True story. My signature is so illegible that I have changed my name 3 times, but I've never changed my signature.
There you go. That's the way to do it.
That is true. Her signature is some kind of scrawl. It's some kind of hieroglyphic. You can't really tell. You could never get her name out of her signature. I can tell you that.
I fucked
Kind
with
of
that.
makes you wonder what the point of a signature is.
They used to be symbols or whatever, so it's not unreasonable that she has a hieroglyphic.
I'm going to make my signature a dick butt.
You can. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter. If it's on your license, then it's legal.
What's a dick butt?
It's like a creature that is like...
It's got a dick for a body and an ass.
yeah, and then
for
a
a
dick
butt.
coming out of the
All
butt.
right.
What's the word? A bipedal penis with a face, and then its balls are an ass, and then there's a dick coming out of the ass. That's what a dick butt is.
Can you do that quickly? Because it sounds pretty artsy.
I mean, no, it's not as artsy and sophisticated as it sounds.
It's
I know
really-
it sounds that way, but it's not.
It's what, like 6 circles and a couple straight lines
I
for the
know
hairy
it's-
ball sack?
I know it sounds like something you might find on the Sistine Chapel, but in reality, it can be scrawled just as easily as any first and last name.
Right. Or in any jail cell or wherever.
Yeah, any jail cell, any padded room, in your own blood or saliva, however you want to do it. That's between you and the dick butt, honestly.
Which you are going to start using as your signature.
That's
From-
my scrawl, yes.
The next time you
Scroll.
have to renew your license.
Oh, hey, you know what?
No.
Here's some personal news for you. I watched a movie called The Tax Collector last night with my friend because he was like, oh, yeah, it's really cool. Like, it's such a good movie. It's got Shia LeBoef in it.
Okay.
And some other guy as 2 guys who like work for a cartel boss.
Okay.
Oh, and George Lopez is in it. He's pretty good in that. But it's just like the worst fucking acting I've ever
Oh.
seen. Shia LaBeouf does this cholo accent some scenes, and then some scenes he doesn't. They gave him fake cauliflower ear. They got him. I'm like, Shia LaBeouf ain't got no motherfucking cauliflower ear. And then, dude, my favorite part is there's this scene at the end. The main character, David, is like a family man, but he's one of the collectors. He goes to all the gangs and takes the cut for the Wizard. Hey, super unoriginal name for a cartel guy. The Wizard. Seriously? Couldn't even make it like a Spanish name?
No, it's just a
Anyway,
wizard.
El Wizardo. Anyway.
Was it really El Wizardo?
No, it was Wizard. Yeah, there's this scene in the end where he's wrestling around with some guy. You know, they're like fighting to the death
Playfully?
and shit.
Oh, no. Okay.
No, they're fighting to the death in a hotel room. He's like getting choked out. He's on his back. The guy's on top of him. He's choking him out. And then it like flashes back to some Brazilian jiu-jitsu classes. He's getting choked out. He's losing consciousness, and it flashes back again to the Brazilian jiu-jitsu class. And he's like, you got to go for the armbar. When you're on your back, you do this. And then there's like a half broken, you know, the thing that goes over a toilet, the back, the tank.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's a half broken thing there, and he just grabs it and smashes the dude over the fucking head with it. Like, that's not Brazilian jiu-jitsu.
That's
Why were you
brawling.
flashing back to his Brazilian jiu-jitsu class like he was about to unleash some kind of technique, when in reality he just grabs some ceramic and smashes the dude in the head with it?
Well, maybe that's the juxtaposition, right? Maybe that was the point they were making, is that you can prepare all you want, and in the end, you're still going to get smashed your fucking head in by a toilet tank cover.
I guess. So Shia LaBeouf needs to pick an accent and stick with it.
Okay, that's fair. That's always
And
fair.
also, like, I don't see anything inherently immoral about it, but in today's day and age, I feel like that's something you could get canceled for. Yeah, you know, I'm fucking Shia LaBeouf, man. Let's go get these fucking paper, dog.
Yeah.
It's Shia LeBoef talking like that. You know, I got these fucking cauliflower here, man. And it's fucking real, dog. It's fucking real, Holmes. And then he's like, yeah, let's get this money. Dude, so...
What happened to your Mexi stash?
Yeah. Bad acting, bad dialogue. And my buddy's just like, damn, oh, shit. He's just so enraptured by this movie. I'm like, dog, this is butt.
Hey, you know what's not a shitty Shia LaBeouf movie?
What?
Peanut Butter Falcon.
I started reading reviews on this movie, The Tax Collector, halfway through the movie. Because I'm like, am I just being cynical here? No, it didn't do well in the review circuit. And that was a big thing. And a lot of Shia LaBeouf's been doing so well in movies like Peanut Butter Falcon and Erectile Dysfunction or whatever the fuck.
That other one.
And yeah, they were shocked by his quasi-cholo act here. The quasi-cholo.
So what I'm hearing is do not necessarily watch this movie, which was called, again, The Tax Collector. Don't watch The Tax Collector.
Yeah, it's not good.
I want to know which friend this was so that we can all judge him or her.
I probably wouldn't appreciate me saying his name.
Okay, a friend
Tell
who
us
shall
later.
He
remain.
would know if he heard this, though.
Yeah, because he was
He
the one
was so stoked to show it, and like him and his girlfriend were really trying to watch it, and they're like, we can't watch it yet because their roommate hadn't come home yet. And I was like, man, okay. I was getting real stoked, waiting for it, and I was like, this is butt. This is doo-doo. It's not good. It's cringy.
Is
you
it
know?
dick butt?
Yeah, is it Dick Butt?
You could say that.
I think I just did. Do not watch The Tax Collector, starring Shia LaBeouf and that other guy.
And the other guy. And George Lopez. George Lopez was good in it, though. It was cool
He was
to
the
watch
best
him
part.
be some fucking banger.
Thug.
That was cool.
All right, George Lopez. Watch only the parts of The Tax
YouTube
Collector
the clips
with George
George
Lopez.
Lopez.
George
Yeah,
Lopez
in the
only.
Tax Collector.
But
Although
no other
he does
parts.
meet a gruesome end. And then, I'm just going, hey, spoiler alert, they chop his fucking head off. And then, like, they open the cooler. It's like, Tio. And it's, they didn't even fucking try to remake a clay model of George. I was like, is that supposed to be George Lopez right there? And then he starts, and Brendan Schaub and Brian Ortega are in that movie, too.
What?
Yeah. No lines, just goons in a club. I'm like, is that fucking Brandon Schaub? And then Brian Ortega's just pouring. I'm like, that's fucking Brian Ortega, one ex-UFC fighter, just being goons in a movie.
Oh, that's
in a
pretty
bad
funny.
movie.
And they're both UFC fighters or just the one?
Well, Brendan Schaub was a UFC fighter. Now he's a quote-unquote comedian. And then there's Brian Ortega, who is a UFC fighter.
There you go. If you want your fix of UFC, but you don't want to see the fights, just watch The Tax Collector, a movie over which we have spent an inordinate amount of time considering how shitty it is.
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, it does.
It was that bad.
It was
It
that
was.
bad. It was worth talking about. Sarah, did you have any other particular news? How's the Chicken Mansion coming? I've been dying to hear an update on this Chicken Mansion.
I got good news on the Chicken Mansion and I got bad news.
All right,
And the
let's-
good news is that I finished the French Drain-ish. So now I actually am like 1/2 step closer to having a clear space to do the Chicken Mansion. So good news is that we took a tiny baby step toward chicken mansioning, and the bad news is that I haven't actually made any real progress on it.
Well, my question to you is this French Drain, is this going to be a situation where you're kind of setting it up so that the chickens can have their own bidet? Is that what's French about it?
I don't know what's French about it, other than I guess they used to use them in France. I don't know. I actually did read an article on it, but that was like 6 months ago when I started this whole fucking project.
Yeah, that was a long time
And-
ago.
No, the French Drain is so that my patio behaves like a patio and not a swimming pool.
Okay, so it has no benefit to the chickens other than providing them a dry environment. I was hoping they could use this to clean themselves up or some other chicken function.
Well, I can tell you that they like digging in the freshly turned dirt that I have buried the drain in, which is super annoying.
Yeah, those chickens just suck. I hate those chickens. They are the bane of my existence.
Well, you don't like
Not-
birds.
well-
We've been all over that.
Really? This is like the first time hearing that he hates these chickens.
Oh,
Yeah, they just are in the way and they're aggressive. They gang up on you and shit. And it's like, come on, dude. You really want me to stomp you out? They give you that look. They're cannibalistic.
They are cannibalistic, but do you know what your problem is?
What?
You don't feed them enough. They'll love you.
I'm not going to
if-
let
if
them
they feed
bully
you.
me into feeding them, okay? Then they got me trained.
Okay. I'm just saying, they stopped pecking my toes once I started feeding them.
I'll feed them my 11 and a half shoe. How about that?
All right.
At 90 miles an hour.
Yeah, don't do that.
I'm just kidding. I would never do that. Although I do often hear a hawk crying when they're out.
Dude, it's not a hawk. It's a blue jay.
What?
Yeah. Did you know that blue jays can impersonate hawks?
Oh, well, one of them's killing it.
Here's the only way I know that it's not a fucking hawk, because we do have a hawk in the area.
It sounds like a cartoon version of a
yeah,
hawk.
like a hawk screaming.
Yeah.
Okay, I was digging dirt out to put over this French drain, and there's a blue jay on the fucking fence, and it screams at me, and I was like, you motherfucker. And I have yet to get a video of it because nobody believes me.
I believe
but
you.
that hawk screech is a fucking blue jay.
I believe you.
I had to look it up. I was like, do blue jays impersonate hawks? And the answer is yes.
Yes.
So it's not a hawk, it's a blue jay.
Okay, well, that's a little bit better then.
Well, kind of.
But there still is a hawk somewhere.
Yeah, I did have 2 chickens get fucking skewered by a hawk.
So now you just don't know which direction it's coming from.
Correct.
Now, wait a minute. Are you sure that a hawk skewered your chickens, or maybe just a aggressive, athletic, perhaps well-armed blue jay?
Because I saw the hawk on the fence. The hawk was eating the chicken.
Standing there.
Menacingly. The hawk was eating the chicken. I came out and the hawk hopped up on the fence and I was like, "You motherfucker!" And then he flew off.
Chicken?
No.
Oh.
You would think that the hawk wouldn't eat the chicken as a professional courtesy from one bird to another.
Oh, birds!
There's a reason why they
Chickens
call
are
them
cannibals. They don't care.
And they call them chicken hawks.
Chicken hawk.
Right. Red-tailed hawks are also called chicken hawks.
I thought that was just like a derogatory name for...
No, it's a street name maybe, but they do kill them chickens. So speaking of killing things, my actual personal news for this week is that my mom chopped off some baby's fingers and I killed my dog.
Okay, so let's hear the details
baby's
on that.
Fingers.
So maybe Tuesday, my mom calls me and I don't answer the phone because I'm watching Umbrella Academy and it's great. I'm mid-episode.
We could have a whole conversation about that. Right, finished the second season.
So whatever, I give her like 45 minutes for my episode to end and then I call her back and I can tell that she's been crying. And I'm like, oh God, what happened? And she's like, well, I was watching her coworker's baby and, I turned my back for a second and she got in the drawers and she got into a food processor. And I was like,
are you fucking serious?
Yeah.
Our mother was babysitting someone's baby and allowed it to get its fingers removed?
Let me finish. So,
oh, fuck.
It wasn't.
No wonder she didn't tell me. I was able to roast her.
Well, okay. So I was like, what happened? And she's like, she was just playing with it. And so I picked her up. I was like, no, and took her into the living room and set her down and she was fine. And, she kind of went, meh, like babies do. And she went back into the kitchen because she was washing dishes and she looked down and by God, there's blood everywhere. And she's like, so she panics. Because she's like, what the fuck? Where'd this blood come from? And she runs back into the living room to see the baby and there's more blood. And so the baby had just cut her finger, her ring finger and her pinky. And it wasn't even that deep, but it bled everywhere and it panicked her. And she's like, so I thought I'd cut the baby's fingers off. And I called my coworker in a total blubbering mess. And I was like, and of course she made fun of her. And then I had to make fun of her. And but then the next day, karma came back and hit me hard. Because the next day, so Moose takes doggy Xanax because he needs it. And
I do too, because I like it.
Right.
Cigarettes just aren't enough.
Xanax.
So in the morning, I give him his doggy Xanax with this peanut butter. So I'm prepping his pills and I'm talking to Murphy as I do this and I'm not really paying attention. So I have 2 doggy Xanax and then I have an antacid loaded up on the peanut butter and then I give it to the dog that's sitting there waiting for their treat. And as soon as I actually come back to my body, I realize the 7-pound Chihuahua just ate the 90-pound doggy Xanax.
I see. That doesn't sound healthy for the little dog.
No. So
she just took a ride on heavy metal. That's what happened right there.
For a while.
So, and like Murphy looks at me, you just gave her Moose's medicine, didn't you? And I was like, yep. And she's like, okay, well, I have to go to work, so bye.
Right.
You fix this. You fucked it up. You fix it.
Like a loving, supporting partner does.
Right. When you see the rising tides of rage, sometimes it's best just to remove yourself from the situation.
So true.
So I give my Chihuahua some hydrogen peroxide because you're supposed to do that to make him throw up. And she doesn't puke. So I keep shoving fucking hydrogen peroxide down her throat.
More poison to unpoison the original poison.
Right.
To cancel out the poison.
Like, and I don't know if it's because of the antacid she ate or what, but she is just not fucking vomiting. Okay. So I call my vet and the secretary that answers, I told her, hey, my dog is 7 pounds. She took medication for a 90-pound dog. It's fluoxetine. And she's like, hold on. Goes to talk to a vet tech and she comes back and she's panicking. I can hear it in her voice that she's panicking, which is doing wonders for my fucking mental stability. And she's like, did you feed it hydrogen peroxide? Pour as much as you can in there. I'm like, that don't sound right because like...
Get a funnel and just empty the entire bottle of hydrogen peroxide into your small dog.
Well, I don't know.
It now.
I don't know if you know this or not, but to get a dog to fucking drink hydrogen peroxide, she drank the first teaspoon on her own and then like seemed to realize what she was doing and wouldn't do it again. So I have a dropper for Moose's cannabis And
Right.
I emptied that and used that to put more peroxide in her. But, I was like, I'm not going to give her 5 tablespoons full of peroxide. And I was like, look, when does the vet get in? And she's like, 8:00. I'm like, okay. Because Lily took this medicine at 6:45. Okay. So I take her to the vet at 8:00. And the vet's like, well, we'll see what we can do, and walks off with her because you can't go in with them because of COVID. And I was like, okay. And then I cried. And the first thing my mom says to me when I call her later and tell her all of this, the first thing she says to me is, did you cry? And I was like, hey, that's a dickish thing to say.
Yeah, it is. Because
But-
after all, you're going to cry. Wee Wee is a little dog, and you love your little dog, and so on
Well,
and so forth.
and the vet taking her was like, oh God, what if that's the last time I see her? So
Oh, it wouldn't be
that
the
was
last
traumatic.
time. It might be the last time you'd see her alive, but it wouldn't be
Right,
the last time you'd
thanks.
see her.
all of which to say is that I get my dickishness from both sides of the family. So I go to work and they call me a few hours later and they're like, yeah, we gave her some super vomit juice and she vomited and there weren't any pills in there. So we also gave her some activated charcoal. And I was like, okay, this all sounds fine. And he's like, so I looked up the half-life of the drug that you gave her and basically you would have had to have given her 30 times as much as you did to kill a mouse. And I was like, oh, so I didn't have to take her to you at all. And everything turned out fine.
Yeah, so how much did that adventure cost you?
About $200.
$200 for something you could have just said, oh, well, fuck it. Oh, hey, Moose, here's your medicine. Don't worry about it, wee-wee.
Yeah. So when I went to pick her up, the vet was like, she was a delight. And I was like, yeah, that was probably the fucking Xanax.
Yeah, probably so.
Probably the overdose on Zen. She was taking a ride on heavy metal when she strolled into your office. So
Yeah.
Do
Yeah.
you think
she was
that
pretty compliant.
do you think she mentally associated all of the other bullshit with the trip?
I don't know. I mean, I do shove things into her mouth fairly regularly, I guess. So she's totally fine. I thought she'd be pissed at me, but totally fine.
Lily, if you
She's-
don't feel safe there, you can come visit us, okay?
You don't want her. Come on
You
now.
don't. Trust me, you don't. She's a little demon.
She's
She's actually been getting better lately about barking at me, but yeah, it is strange because for the years that I lived here, it was Bark City.
yeah,
all
there
fucking day.
there
It
was
get
no
the fuck out of my house every second of every day. Now that I don't live here, I just visit here frequently. It's getting better. Maybe her old age is tempering her
It could be.
evil personality.
She's just
So,
convinced
yeah.
that you're leaving this time. Before it was like, I can't live with you, Nick. Get the fuck out of here. But now she knows you're visiting, and it's
Get
cool.
out! Get out!
Yeah, before it was like, oh my God, you're fucking back. And then now it's like, well, at least he's going to leave.
Yeah. So when I did call my mom, the very first thing she said is, "Oh my God, is she okay?" So, and then she asked me, "Did you cry?" Because she cried the day before. So, mother and I are both terrible people. Jail for us. But that's my personal news. She cut off baby's fingers, and I killed my dog.
You know what? This is a thing with pets and animals in general, is that they're so expensive and difficult to take care of. They're not like mimes at all, for example. And this is why I think it's important, this new initiative that's coming down the pike. And I think you're all going to really be excited about this.
Greetings, American citizens. This is a public service announcement from the Federal Mime Enforcement Agency. By now, every American has heard of the FME mandate that each state issue each of its adult citizens their very own mime. Citizens are required to appear at their respective state mimery with 2 valid forms of identification to receive their mime. After you've signed for your mime, you will be given a handbook and accompanying VCR instructional tape on how to properly maintain your mime. Each mime will come in its own invisible kennel, complete with the invisible shackles that the mime will already have affixed to its own flesh. Expect your mime to be hungry. It's a long drive from the mime distribution center. But don't expect them to ask for anything to eat. Remember, they don't speak. And don't feed them too much. Mimes are most effective when slender. No further activation of your mime is required. These mimes are created by our nation's top scientists under optimal conditions. So don't worry, your mime is ready to comically and dramatically imitate your every move immediately and silently. On behalf of the public servants of FME, thank you and enjoy your mime.
That's exciting.
I can't wait to get mine, man.
So I was early in on the trial run version, and I had to return it because it just sat in meetings flipping everyone off. I think it was just reading what I was thinking.
You're not supposed to return it. You're supposed to beat it savagely with an invisible 2x4.
Well, it was the trial period. I know better now.
Oh, thank goodness. Well,
Yeah, someone didn't watch their VCR tape.
you're going to enjoy this mime. That's the whole point of that. Well, in any event, so Sarah, I know that you last night texted me for a code to get my cable to work so that you could watch a thing. What did you watch?
I watched Frankie Edgar versus some other dude whose name escapes me right now. I watched a fight. Just the main card.
And you
which
charged it to
Frankie
our
Edgar
account,
lost,
is
right?
that correct?
No. Frankie Edgar won by split decision.
Who did he fuck? I just.
Peter Munoz. That's who
Oh,
he
yeah.
fought.
Peter Munoz, the guy who knocked out. There's two guys named Munoz. Was it Pedro?
I think so.
Pedro Munoz is the guy who's knocked out Cody Garbrandt last.
Yeah.
Wasn't the last guy Cody Garbrandt fought. But
No, because Cody Garbrandt won his last fight.
yeah, man, Sean O'Malley has not been taking his loss well.
No.
He's been talking a lot of shit on Marlon Vera, which makes people like really go back and watch the clip. People thought at first it was a nagging injury, and it is, but like Marlon Vera like kicked him in the leg hard enough to like reactivate the injury. At first I thought Sean O'Malley was just not, his shit was just fucked up. And now I'm saying that Cheeto Vera really did just win fair and square, which is making Sean O'Malley's case that it was lucky and that he's going to be
being a whiny little bitch.
Yeah, it's like really making me jump off the hype train hard. It's like, damn, dude, just take the L. Talking shit
Being
before
a
a fight
sore
is one
loser?
thing, but talking shit after a fight, it's like super bitch made. Not that I would ever say that to his face.
No, because he'd whip your ass.
He would whoop my ass. He would just knock me the fuck out real quick.
He would take a great big bong rip, maybe let you in on it.
I do weigh way more than him, though. I could probably smother him.
If you could pin him down,
Motherfucker
sure.
weighs 145 pounds. He weighs as much as a young child. Not a young child.
I was going to say, children.
As an 8th grader?
Well, okay. First
That's
of all,
how much I weighed in 8th. Well, yeah, it's about how much I weighed in 8th grade.
At 8th grade, you're a teenager. You're not really a child anymore.
You're not a teenager at 8th grade.
Yes,
you're
you
fucking
are.
Well, okay.
You're how old?
Okay. You got me fair and square.
Now, we did have a piece of news in our neighborhood, which is more racist bullshit going on in our
Ooh.
neighborhood. Oh,
That's interesting.
You perked up, huh? Well,
Yeah.
Elsie
I like to hear about this.
Okay.
So the neighbors that harassed the new black neighbors last time by calling the cops on them and saying that they were shooting a BB gun at their house, which is not true, also called in a domestic violence disturbance and said that,
them.
Yeah, that a mom and daughter had been fighting for well over 20 minutes. So we get
Oh
this
my
text
God.
from Kimmy, who is the mom, and she's like, do you guys see cops at the house? Like, they've been called out for a domestic disturbance, and I'm in a town 40 minutes away. And so apparently, she talked to the cops, and the cops said, well, yeah, we keep getting calls a lot for this house. And
Eventually, they're going to stop answering calls. They're going to stop answering those people's calls.
But they have to, and they legally have to show up if there's enough calls. So the cops don't even want to be involved in this harassment.
So from multiple different houses or the same family?
Same family.
Okay, like the police will put you on a do not answer list if you keep calling them. That is a thing.
Well, they should probably put these racist neighbors on that do not answer
I'm not sure
list.
exactly the exact number, but if you from your cell phone keep calling the cops to complain about people and they keep showing up and nothing's happening, they will put you on a do not answer list.
But I just can't even understand why that call would have even happened. Like, we're outside quite a bit. We never hear anything that is disturbing at all from these neighbors that keep being harassed. It's like, why would you even call on them about a domestic violence
What it
disturbance?
probably
That's
is
terrible.
it's probably the dad or the wife or maybe both.
They're
just sitting in their reading room, okay, across from each other on separate lazy boys. And they both got their pants down.
Of course. Yes, that makes
They're
sense.
wearing shirts. They're wearing fully buttoned up sweater vests and shit. But they got no pants. And they're jerking it, respectively, looking each other in the eye. And what they're saying is, you know what would really spice up this orgasm that we're both about to have separately but in the same room? Is a little bit of racism, you know? Nothing gets my dick hard like unnecessary racism. What do you say we call the cops on our neighbors over there, watch them show up, and right when they get out of the car, that's when we'll bust?
See, I mean,
That's
that's
a good theory.
clearly
That's the only logical.
That's a good theory.
It's the most logical, yeah.
And then right as the cops get out of the fucking car and they, saunter up to the house, knowing that it's a waste of time, you just see from the other side of the window just a light cream fall on the panes, staining the glass, if you will.
Gross.
Super gross. But it's no more gross, actually, than the racism that is motivating these calls, frankly.
No shit.
Don't you like that he's described that in such detail that the next time you see those neighbors, that's
You're
all
gonna
you're
be
going to
looking.
think about?
You're going to be looking at the window that faces that neighbor's house. You'll look, and you'll see a little frosting, and it ain't going to be no Tony the Tiger. I'm going to tell you that right now. But you know what you should do? is you should go. Oh, they don't really have payphones anymore, do they?
No,
No.
they
thing.
don't. No, it's not a thing.
I was going to say you should start calling the cops on them just about inane, stuff. Too many leaves in the front yard.
I thought
You
about
feel
it.
unsafe. You saw someone. You know what? Just call the cops and be like, I saw someone suspicious walking around like inside their house. And they'd be like, did they break in? I'm like, no, I didn't see them break in, but they just look suspicious in there. I just don't feel safe in my neighborhood with whoever's in that house. And just keep doing it until you're put on the no answer list.
Okay, we could do all of those things, but I think what we're going to do instead is just not participate in that racist behavior and help our neighbors when we need to.
You're not participating in racist behavior. You're participating in vengeful behavior when
I
you do
see.
that, which,
I see.
as we all know, has no negative repercussions and never backfires.
No, not at all. There's never any blowback from vengeance. Everyone knows that.
Vengeance is sweet, justified, and most importantly, righteous.
Right. Very righteous.
It is the
Happens all
will of the
time.
Lord.
So I should do it, obviously.
To exact secondhand vengeance on your neighbors. It's because they're not even slighting you. It's your other neighbors, but it's annoying to watch. So
Can you-
secondhand vengeance.
Can you see how annoying Nick was growing up? Can you
What?
Is this giving you an idea?
Everyone is entitled to vengeance, okay?
Oh, that I'm not questioning.
For
It's,
actual or perceived slights.
it's the miming that you're doing, the mimicking of the behavior. The nuh-uh.
Yeah, that's
that
what you
you're
do. You take the chi like Bruce Lee and become like water and redirect it back at them in ways that will leave them confused for the rest of their lives.
Don't make it sound legitimate. You just like annoying people.
I do, but if you give me a reason to, I'm really going to turn up the faucet. You know what I mean? If you
Right.
give me like an actual justified you're being racist reason to annoy you, then I'm going to turn it up all the way.
Yeah, you will do that.
You're
You're
show my whole asshole. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, you're capable of that for sure.
I'm capable.
Your
I'm-
front and tattooed asshole.
yeah. Like
Wait.
cat's asshole and my asshole. The cat asshole I have imprinted upon my flesh. Not yet. It's more of a prototype right now. It's
Yeah.
a Sharpie
Right. But still
right now.
but still very accurate.
Yeah, and it's still hyper realistic. I still pay good money to have it applied every day
Right. With a Sharpie.
with a Sharpie. Yeah,
It says it's
He's not-
permanent marker, but it's not.
Right.
I couldn't imagine, like, dude, getting a tattoo right there around your belly button. Oh my god, that's got to be one of the worst places ever.
I'm too fat for that.
Me too.
Me 3.
Me 4.
All right. So no tattoos, no family tattoos.
Not
And-
around the belly
Not
button.
around the belly button.
Yeah.
We can
Oh, I
still-
s-
our forehead is still prime real estate. buddy. Prime real estate.
Is that so? I didn't know that. All right. Well, I guess
But we
I
could
have
all
something to
shave
look
our
forward to.
heads, and then we got all that there.
True.
You know?
You
True.
joke, but before I grew my mohawk back out, I still think I should have got a tattoo on my head.
That would have been cool.
Yeah.
Like-
I'm not metal enough for it.
That was another movie I watched called Skin. It's about that guy, that black guy who converts
Oh yeah.
KKK members. I forget his name, Daryl something.
Yes.
Yeah, it was a movie like based on
Him?
this guy who, like the real Daryl dude, who's obviously like an insane hero of almost unheard of caliber. To I would think that that's not even possible to turn some of these KKK members, but he does. But he's not like Denzel Washington. But they got some dude who's super cut, real tall, like nice, like deep timber voice playing him. Like that's not who he is. But the movie's about this guy who has a bunch of face tattoos, Nazi face tattoos, some sort of Viking Brotherhood shit, and he gets them all removed and turned from the Nazism.
Nice.
The cool part about that movie was like they showed up close, like the tattoo removal, like really fucking close, and it seemed like it hurt like a bitch.
Well,
I've
that's
heard it
what
hurts
it
Laser.
worse.
Yeah.
That's what you get for putting racist tattoos on yourself. And thank you to Daryl Davis for his work fighting racism. Well done.
Did you look up his name?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, Daryl Davis. I should.
I thought you just knew.
I could have pretended that I just know, but why be a liar in front of all of you when you know I can't remember shit?
It's true.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes you just do know certain things, like exact dates and times and how old you were when this happened or that happened.
Yeah, you'll remember useless shit.
That's
Yeah.
true. Anything
Like
useful,
me.
though, forget it.
That must be
Forget
where
it.
I get it from. Song lyrics, video game puzzles. That's pretty much all I can ever remember.
Isn't that all you need in life?
I think it's helped me get by.
Yeah. When you want to turn your life into a musical, isn't it handy to have the lyrics and songs available to do it at a moment's notice?
Yeah, I mean, usually I just make things up as I go along, so it's like it's extra useless. You know what I mean?
I know
Like, just
exactly what you mean.
remix-
Yeah,
remix
like
the words.
Yeah, like for example, right now, we're having a podcast, having a podcast, having a podcast. We're having a podcast, having a podcast, having a podcast. What will the words be next in the song about the podcast? I don't know, but I am continuing to sing about the podcast. Isn't that nice?
No.
Yeah, well, but that wasn't to the tune of any song.
Yeah, that
though.
was terrible.
If it would have been like to the tune of some kind of song, that would have been semi less
Maybe,
annoying.
Yeah.
No, that was just white dad rap.
Yeah.
Never do that again.
You got to have like some kind of song,
Right.
you know, like the beat. You got to Weird Al it. you know?
Right, exactly. There's a podcast that knows all that glitters is gold, and she's buying a podcast to heaven.
All right, that's
Better.
like, you got the concept
That
down,
was
but
at
it was
least
worse
right.
content.
Right.
All right. We'll let you practice that in private.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've got a whole week to figure it out.
All right, well, that's terrific. Speaking of which, what are you kids doing this week?
Burning in hell. Burning in my carpeted apartment.
You know, there's nothing wrong with carpet in an apartment, except in your case where it's indicative
Stinky.
that it's indicative that you are living. How are your cats, Nick? How are your cats?
They're fucking fine, dude. They're fine. They're fine. Although they have now gained the ability to jump up on the counters, so that's just been a fucking. That's been a fucking.
They've always known how.
Well, they haven't been able to. Now they are able to. Me and Taylor made burritos the other night, and dude, our cat Mayo, and it's probably because he was on the tit for so long, but he's like real aggressive about his food, like a dog. He will growl at you when he's got food in his mouth. Me and Taylor made burritos. We had a lid on the fucking thing. It was on the stove. But this was like the day after they had gained their new vampiric ability to jump on our fucking counters, to jump on any surface in the apartment. Me and Taylor are just watching TV and I hear, what the fuck? I look over and Mayo we wouldn't have even known if he wouldn't have just aggroed at us for no reason. They could have eaten the whole goddamn burrito mix, but old fat bitch over there had to let everyone know that he was aggressive about his food. And he's just got this giant hamburger meat in he can't even close his mouth around it. He's just, I'm like, dude, what the fuck? I run over to the stove and Ketchup's just on the stove. Her eyes are half closed. Her belly is disgorged from the amount of burrito mix she's been eating. There's fucking burrito mix all over the counter and shit. You know, it's just a goddamn disaster.
Massacre.
And so I try to pick Mayo up to get the fucking hamburger out of his mouth. He's attacking my hands like for real. And I'm trying to pry open his little fucking mouth. And it's not happening, dude. He's got a pit bull clamp on that motherfucker. And he's all tearing my hands. I'm like, you don't just eat the shit, dude. Just fucking eat it, you fat bitch. And then, you know, we had to put it away for real and, you know, watch over them and make sure their shits weren't, you know, super explosive, which of course they were. It's all good. And that was that. That was my fantastic adventure the other night.
So I anticipate more of that this week for you, and that's exciting. A lot of adventures with cats on the counter.
Yeah, I don't really mind them getting on the counter, but as long as there's nothing on there, you know.
Yeah.
But there always is.
Right, of
They're
course.
always jumping around in the sink and shit at like 4 a.m. I think there's an intruder in my fucking house.
Ting, ting, ting,
I
ting.
get up, I run out of bed all low to the ground and shit, like I'm about to have to wrestle with a fucking assassin in the night.
Like a
And it's
weird
just-
crab person.
Yeah, it's just two fucking cats just wrestling in the sink, moving fucking chopsticks around and shit. I get so mad. We got these metal chopsticks. They're pretty dope, but
You know, welcome to cat life. That's all I can tell you. Welcome to cat life.
yeah.
You know what they're doing, right? They're
No.
training you to do your dishes before you go to bed.
Yep.
Yeah, they sure are.
And put away food as soon as you're done with it.
Yep.
Yeah, and they're doing it right.
Well, way to go, cats, training, you know, you in responsibility in ways that I never could.
Yeah, dude, I just wish you could have seen the look in his eyes with that fucking taco meat in his mouth. It was like he was just, it wasn't even him anymore. It was just a
He had
demon.
left.
It's never not funny, that noise.
I know. Any excuse I can to bust it out, you know?
Sure.
Fun to do, it's fun to hear. It's a crowd pleaser. What can I say?
It is. So, Elsie, what do you got on tap this week?
This week, I get to regain my freedom.
From what?
My 17 years and almost 365 days worth of torture will be over soon. And Brad will be responsible for his own fucking self.
Not really.
Yeah, it's good.
Well, right. No, but still, like legally, if he does something, it's like, I don't know. I've never met him before.
Right.
Right, you can say that.
Yeah, I still pick up after him, yeah, but I don't really know him.
Is he about to fly out of the nest?
No, he's not going anywhere. He's not motivated, but he's no longer going to be a child, which means my obligations as a responsible adult will be over, and your dad
you
and I can
sweet
regret.
summer child.
Aw, isn't that cute? At 18, it's not your fault anymore. No, it's always your fault.
Well, right, emotionally, mentally, whatever, but legally, I'm off the hook.
Legally, yeah, you're right. Kind of, mostly. I mean, he's living in your house, so who knows what kind of evil
Still
he
on
can
him.
draw back to your abode.
That's
What kind
true.
of dark spirits.
Thanks for that.
Unknown at this time. But what we know for sure is that he is definitely going to continue to get cleaned up after.
Well, maybe he'll reinvent the Roomba and make some kind of cleaning droid.
That would take
Maybe
an
with a
ounce
little
of motivation.
helpful electro encouragement and some savage beatings, he can be inspired to make some sort of droid.
So you're suggesting
We'll
we
clean
tase
up.
him until he does something? Is
Yeah.
that accurate? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Much more than we're going to have him who didn't really like science and doesn't really have any background in electronics. We're going to have him make a droid, a housework droid.
No, he's going to do it himself. He will do more work to get out of doing the original work than it would take to do the original work.
He'll be like any employee.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
It was like, it reminds me of when I cheated in my Spanish final in college. I did so much work cheating it, and it worked. I got a B, but it was so much work to fake it. Like, it would have been easier just to fucking do it for sure.
Yeah, so what
But-
did you learn from that?
Nothing.
Yeah, I would still do it how I did it again, because it was like you were supposed to do some community outreach shit, supposed to work in some kind of Spanish related. So what I did was I hit up Murph, who just happens to be an 8th grade Spanish teacher, and was like, hey, I'm going to come to your class one time, take a bunch of pictures, help your kids with shit. And then we're just going to say that I did that for weeks and weeks and weeks. You're going to sign off on it. Okay. She's like, okay. And then I got a B. But it was a lot of stress. I make it sound easy, but it was fucking a lot of stress.
Oh, it sounds
Also,
like
my partner was this woman that I worked with at Olive Garden who was dumb as a fucking box of hair, and I had to do all the string pulling, all the Geppetto shit. I would send her pages and pages like, okay, we both have to corroborate our story like in this way, okay? We both have to say we were here. Pages and pages of text. She would just be like, okay. I'm like, is it K? Do you get it, bitch? I mean, we will fail if we don't get this right.
So you're telling me that you learned that you cannot orchestrate a heist well, and this week I learned that I can't bury a body because that French drain kicked my ass. So between the two of us, we're totally doomed to not be evil masterminds.
No, what I learned is that my Spanish professor was a fucking liar because he's like, don't try to get away. Don't try to pull some shit over on me. I will call these people and I will check. Murph was the person I told him to call. He never called her. He never even fucking looked. He just took everything at face. I had this whole huge presentation, like a 20-minute presentation at the end of the semester. And just like 10 minutes into it, he's like, yeah, you're good. Just go ahead and wrap it up. You're fine. You're good. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? So much extra work to not do the original work.
When you could have just shown up for 5 minutes.
Yeah, but it worked.
What I take away from all this is the same thing as you, Nick, which is that your Spanish teacher was a liar.
Liar. Liar, liar. Never forget.
Mendacious.
Malicious.
Unending stream of prevarications. Mendacity. Spanish mendacity.
Espanol.
Yeah. Well, kids, it's been good to talk with you. It always is.
Good to talk to you. Hey, congratulations again, legitimately, on your retirement. I hope that the next couple of weeks are super easy for you.
Why not just make them easy?
Well, I know you. That's why.
Truer words never spoken.
What the fuck's that supposed to mean?
Daddy, you're a workaholic. I don't know how to break it to you other than to say that.
Wow, I'm really getting an intervention here.
Yeah, the workaholism is only interrupted by the being distracted, reading article after article in the internet. And then you
Right.
come back to the working yourself to death.
Thank
Those
God.
are called mental breaks.
Yeah, you never know if he's actually just reading bullshit or if he's actually doing something important.
The screen is just blank. He's just staring at a blank screen, pretending to read something.
Hmm.
I've been there.
While Hello Darkness, my old friend, just plays in his head.
All work and no
Silence, I
play
guess.
makes Pete a dull boy. I just repeat
All right.
that over and over.
That's right.
Love you, bye.
Love you. Bye.
Love you, bye. Say it, Nick.
No.
We interrupt this program. This is a national emergency. Important instructions will follow.
American citizens, this is an activation of the emergency alert system from the Federal Mime Enforcement Agency. FME surveillance has detected a large-scale outbreak of mad mime disease and rabid mime activity in government-issued mimes. As a result, FME is issuing an immediate nationwide recall of all mimes and mime-related paraphernalia. Steps you should take at once. Inject your mime with a double dose of your FME-approved mime sedative, provided you have not already exhausted your supply, and transport your mime back to your nearest mimery for intensive reconditioning. If you are currently out of your FME-approved mime sedative, gently choke your mime into unconsciousness prior to transport. If your mime is already exhibiting frothing at the mouth, muscle spasms, speaking, or other neuroskeletal symptoms, then it is imperative that you maintain your distance while simultaneously ensuring your mime does not escape the premises. Should your mime escape, it will eventually join with or form one of the many roving packs of rabid mimes that are currently terrorizing the countryside. Dial 911 and FME agents will arrive at your home shortly to neutralize and detain the mime. Thank you, and may God have mercy on our souls.
A Shin Show is a production of Shinfluence. It features the voices and opinions of the Shin family, which are entirely and exclusively their own. Join us each week on Apple Podcasts, Google Play Music, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Thanks as always to our regular listeners. We love to hear from you, so if you have a question, comment, recommendation, or idea you would like to submit to a Shin Show, please email us at ashinshow@gmail.com, and we will be happy to ignore it, belittle you publicly, or steal your ideas if you actually have a good one.
Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.